Hey guys, welcome to another Complete Developer Raw, a live show with your host, Will and BJ. How you guys doing? Now that you can actually answer back, I don't know why I said that.
Yeah, I don't really know why you did that either.
I am, guys,
He's a spaz right now. Look, just to set the tone, okay? He was like talking about Abraham Lincoln and couldn't remember his name. All right? So, whatever your expectations are, you should probably lower them.
A lot.
Significantly, yes.
Yeah, so it's been a stressful week. I am going to be moving on Saturday. And so, I actually had a fairly relaxing Thanksgiving.
I did too.
Yeah, we didn't record Thursday, Thanksgiving Day. For those of you guys that aren't in the States, this is our off year, so my sisters are at their in-laws, and normally I fly up to Cleveland. The last few years, that's what I've done on the off year, just go up there and spend it with my sister up there. But because I'm moving, I stayed down here to work on getting stuff ready. And then my aunt had surgery last week, so my mom was taking care of her, and I had nowhere to go.
Well, you could have come to my parents' house. They had so much food.
Oh, that would have been enjoyable. I like your parents.
Yeah, next time that happens,
yeah,
let me know because...
Well, the thing is, the surgery was sort of... she had a melanoma, so it's sort of a last-minute kind of thing. Mom and I had plans, and then we found out the week before that she was going to have surgery.
Right.
So it was just sort of last-minute stuff. But anyways, I drove around looking for a place to eat. I found the one pub that has smoking that I hardly ever go smoking. They were open. I'm like, all right, well, it won't be Thanksgiving kind of food, but I'll go get a burger or something. That'll be great. So I went in and, I broke my No Beer November, which was my plan for Thanksgiving Day anyways.
Yeah.
And so I went in, I had a beer, and I was going to order a burger, and I noticed that they had kind of a table in the back with a bunch of food on it. So I asked the bartender, I'm like, hey, how much for the pot, or not the potluck, but the buffet back there? He's like, oh, that's free. It's where they set up their brunch buffet.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, that's free. The only rule is if you eat a plate, you take a plate. So
take one to somebody else.
Yeah. They had to-go boxes. You take one to somebody that couldn't get out or had to work or something like that.
So who'd you take it to?
My mom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, did it go to Future Beach? Future Beach can't be here right now because of the whole causality thing.
Oh my, that was I didn't think about that. No, I took it from my mom, but anyways, so that was really cool. It was all potluck, the workers there and the regulars, just more of a thing for the regulars. And I was like, is it okay if I do this because I don't come here regularly? They're like, oh no, it's anyone's welcome. It was just a really great kind of thing. There's a lot of people that they don't have family in town and couldn't go home. Older people and stuff like that. So it was really nice. I just think that's a really great idea. I liked what they did, and it's Alley Pub here in Bellevue. If you guys want to give them some business, just FYI, they do allow smoking, and it's during the summer they have the windows open and the fans going. You've been there during the summer, and it's all right, but the winter it gets kind of thick. So. On the way home, though, I was driving through the parking lot, and they're kind of they're behind a strip mall area, and so I was driving through the strip mall to get to the road, and I noticed a line outside of GameStop, and I was like, wonder what time they open. There's about 15, maybe 20 people in line. I'm like, I wonder if they're... I stopped because I was going to go to the liquor store, but they were closed.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I mean, it's just life.
So it's over there by Red. Okay, yeah. I know which one you're talking about now.
So I stop and I'm like, I wonder what time they open. I look down, I looked it up on my phone, they opened at 3, and it was 2:45. I'm like, well, there's only 15 people online. Wonder what kind of deals they got. So I got out and, rather than look it up on my phone, which I could have done, I got out and went and got in line and started talking to the people. Because that's just
I can't imagine you doing that.
And turns out they had sales on basically everything, but I've been wanting to get one of the newer gaming systems. I think I bought my Xbox 360 10, maybe 12 years ago. So it's been a while since I've had a new system. And so I got in line. I was like, all right, I'm going to get myself the new Xbox, the Xbox One. And then I found out, hey, the Nintendo Switch is on sale for the same price as the Xbox normally is. Well, the Xbox One S normally is, which is what I'd planned on getting. And it came with Mario Kart. And a $50 gift card to buy another game. Well, to buy whatever you want, but I use it to buy Zelda. So the two games that I wanted for the Switch, I got for the price of the Xbox One, roughly. A little bit more with the...
Nice.
Yeah, it was sweet. So, Zelda. I haven't played a Zelda game since the old NES.
I've got my Super Nintendo up there with Zelda 3 on it. I beat that probably 5 or 6 months ago.
Dude, I'm telling you, that game is so freaking addicting. I got Breath of the Wild.
Oh, yeah. I've heard about that.
The world is just huge. I heard somebody say it was like twice the size of Skyrim.
Yeah, and Skyrim was bigger than Oblivion, I think, wasn't
it?
Yeah.
But
wow.
it is huge. It is... Well, I haven't played a lot of video games in a while, and so my time understanding when playing video games is not there anymore. So Thursday, I went and watched the Saints game with a friend of ours, and came home. It was probably 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, all right, I'm going to play for an hour or two and go to bed. 2:30 in the morning, I'm starting to get bleary-eyed. I'm like, I ought to go to bed. I wonder what time it is. Is it like 12, 12:30 maybe? Nope. I had sat there for 4 hours.
Yep, it happens.
Not even realizing it. So, yeah. Next day, I turned on the parental controls.
It's bad when you got to do it to yourself.
Well, it's because I just don't have, like, watching TV, I have a way of telling time.
Right, because commercial breaks and everything else.
Yeah.
And, breaks between episodes, too, because there's that boundary.
But, like, I'll start a quest, and it may take me 10 minutes to do it. It may take me 2 hours.
Yeah.
I just don't know. And so, yeah, I set the parental, the timer, not, like, the shutdown. So it's really cool. It'll tell you, hey, your time's up playing, but it won't shut down so you can, like, finish what you're doing. But like I watched the whole video on it, and apparently like it'll send a thing to the parent's phone and be like, hey, they played this long over. So if it's like 5-10 minutes over, then all right, they got to a safe place and stopped the game, or they finished the race they were in or something and stopped the game. But they go like an hour over,
Yeah, and then you start asking questions.
Yeah. And then there's another one where you can have it switch off after a certain amount of time. So I like this because then I can just like give myself a warning. It's like,
and you can contain your game playing too to more discipline.
Yeah, so that way I'll know how long I've been playing, because the other option was to just be like, hey, Alexa, tell me when I'm...
Yeah.
So that's it. There's some really neat stuff on that. One thing you'll really like about the Switch is, unlike other modern gaming systems, it does not assume that you have internet connection.
Oh, that's nice.
It actually, because it's designed to be portable and a console, it assumes you do not have internet connection.
Yeah, that is nice.
I really, really like that about it. So that was really cool. Other than that, I've just been getting ready for moving. Spent all day Friday last week packing. So it's going to be a lot easier than last time because everything's going to be packed up.
Yeah. So I went to my parents' house for Thanksgiving, their new house, which is a mile down the road from their old house, which my sister now lives in. And it's nice. We got upgraded from a double bed to a queen size, so I don't have to sleep with my shoulders rolled in, which is real nice. And we were supposed to stay from Wednesday until Friday, and Friday during the day, at one point my wife asked me, she's like, I slept here pretty well. You want to stay another day? And so
sweet.
we stayed an extra day. We weren't really expecting it. So, she had to do laundry and all that stuff, but I packed extra clothes for me because I know how messy I am. So I'm like, I prepare anyway.
Yeah.
So so it was really relaxing. The other thing I did is I finally released my book on LeanPub. So there's a developer's guide to surviving whiteboard interviews, and you can go on LeanPub and get that for I think $5 or $7.
I should have put the link on.
I should have given you a link. That would have been smart.
Oh, I've got the link.
Oh, I did give you a link. No, I put it on Facebook. That's how you know about it.
No, it's in the copy of the book you gave me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I got it on LeanPub, and then I have been in this hellacious slugging match trying to get it on Amazon. Their tool for the Kindle Direct Publishing, especially for the print version, does not like stuff. I'm going to pay somebody to fix it.
Yeah.
Basically is what it comes down to. I'm not ever going to mess with their tool again if I can help it. It's that bad.
Before you pay someone to do it, let me finish going through it.
Okay.
Because I got some just text edits for you that will. Because with LeanPub, you can just make the edits and it'll.
Yeah, and you can with Amazon. Once it's in the correct format. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to.
Actually, before the
final cut.
Yeah.
The thing is, it goes live on Amazon tomorrow for the digital.
Well, that's fine. You can still change the digital.
Yeah.
It's the print is what I was saying. It'll be probably a couple weeks before I finish. I got to move and unpack.
Yeah.
About halfway through it right now. It's good.
So
you guys should get it.
Yeah, I think
It's not
it's
expensive either.
Yeah, I mean, I made it pretty cheap. It's like I don't know how to price these things anyway. It's what 58 pages, according to Kindle Direct Publishing. You should go get a cup of coffee while it renders. What they don't tell you is that you can, in fact, jump in a car and drive to Columbia and pick your own beans. Their thing is just a little bit slow. I don't know. They need to make the hamster on the wheel in the back go a little faster or whatever they're doing. It bugs me a lot because our software that I work with, we have PDFs. We deal with PDFs at a low level. We get lots of griping and complaining if we process less than like 40 pages a second.
That's very interesting because
And the biggest e-commerce retailer of books that has their own printing company thing, they can't process a 56-page book that's mostly text that doesn't do any mail merging or anything like that. It's just like, hey, take this and put it on a page, and it takes like 20 minutes. Like you upload it, and it's 20 minutes of watching the thing spin. And your session time's out, and you log back in. And then it's still spinning, but it only spins for like 5 minutes, and then you can get in.
Huh. That's interesting because you sent me the PDF version, which I then emailed to my Kindle, and it loaded in like less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Amazon, y'all need to jump on that.
Yeah.
Shooter.
Sorry. So,
It's bad.
yeah. So, in addition to that, my reward for myself for getting my book done and getting it published was upgrading the remainder of the hardware on my desktop computer. So, I have two 4 terabyte Western Digital Black drives coming in, a 1 terabyte SSD coming in, and a 1080 Ti video card coming in, and all the cables. So I'll have a single video card instead of two. So I'm going to test and see how hard it will be to switch to Linux with just one video card, because I think that's going to get rid of a lot of the complications that were burning me before. And so I don't know. I may not stay on Windows.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'll be honest with you. If I work on a Windows VM, but I use a Mac at work. I love doing that. If the next personal computer that I buy will be a Mac.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about getting a Mac as a dedicated kind of recording, audio editing box, getting a Mac Mini for that. The thing is, they've raised the price on the Mac Minis because they're no longer making the crappy version, basically, the one without SSD. So they're a little bit more expensive, but it might be worth it.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I'll go Linux. It's not a big, I don't necessarily have that much against a Mac. But I mean, if I'm going to do that, I would rather go ahead and get something I already know how to admin.
that's a good point. You know, I just realized something. Because the way the hair grows on my face, if I just, like, am not... if I'm not explicitly smiling...
You look like a frog?
I look like I'm frowning. Look.
Rivet.
Right. You guys can't see what I'm doing underneath the camera.
He's telling me I'm number one. That's what that means.
Right. So
it's hillbilly sign language for your number one.
Yeah, right. So for the podcast, we are preparing to record remotely. This, hopefully, the plan is this will be our last in-person recording. As I'm moving about an hour and a half away, somewhere in between that range. And so I will be at my house, Will will be here at his house, and we've got the podcast recording set. I've got the video figured out for doing lives. It's the audio for doing lives that I'm still working on. So I worked on that over Thanksgiving and figured out the video. I just need to tweak the audio, and then we're going to run some practices. So next week, if we don't do a live next week, it's because we haven't figured it out, or we tried it and it didn't work. Which, I mean, that happens sometimes in person, so...
Yeah, it may be better. Because one of us can maybe still get on.
Yeah,
Who knows?
That's very true. So, guys, I got to tell you guys about what happened Monday before we get into the questions. Oh, my goodness. So talking about internet and getting online, I have Comcast because that's the only thing that I can have at my apartment. And so I looked up, when I found this house, I looked up what internet service was available out there, and Comcast said they were available. Now, mind you, Comcast does not let you look up the address of your house. They only let you look up the zip code.
Right, because they cover the whole thing.
Yeah, no.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, this is great. My mom has Comcast. She lives about 15 minutes away, down almost the same road. It's like you turn off of the same road to get to it. So, I mean, I'm like, all right, that makes sense. The line runs that way because my mom has great internet because she's on the way to Tullahoma. I'm between her and Tullahoma. Is it Arnold Air Force Base?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're like, all right.
Yeah.
Anyways, then I go to transfer service Monday. I'm like, all right, let me get this stuff taken care of. Nope. They tell me they don't. Oh, I did it. I went to do it over the weekend, and online it said they couldn't do that. I was like, all right, well, I'll call them. So Monday after work, I called them on my drive home from the bus stop, and they informed me that no, they can't do that. I'm like, oh, joy.
Yeah, because you can't move there without internet.
Exactly. So I'm like, all right, well, I got to figure this out. So I tell Will, and he and I start looking at, all right, what's available. Turns out Spectrum is out there. They offer really, really good quality service, like 400 megabyte downloads.
Yeah, and I think Spectrum is also a brand of tick repellent. So realistically, this is 2 instances where they've gotten rid of bloodsuckers.
I like it. That's good. That's good.
Spineless, blood-sucking, lower forms of life.
So anyways, the really great thing is it's going to be costing me less money to have like 4 times better internet speeds.
And it'll stay up, probably,
Yeah.
because like out in rural areas, I think that's something in the suburbs that's worse, is like power is worse and phone lines are worse and internet is worse. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just because people are moving in and out and they have to mess with the lines. Like if you're out in the sticks,
Yeah.
you know, like they're keeping the line going by, working. Like they know where the problems are there. And then there's the line going to your house. It's not going to the neighborhood and then connecting up to 5 other people. And there's 8 other people messing around on the pole doing stuff. It's like, no. It's you.
And last little story. When I was living in Smyrna during grad school, about every 2.5 to 3 months, I'd have to call Comcast and chew them out because my service would just tank.
Yeah.
And I was working from home a couple of days a week then, and in grad school. It's kind of similar to my life now.
Yeah. You seem to have a pattern.
I do, don't I? Anyways, that was about 10 years ago, too. Anyway, sorry. So it turned out I finally got a decent Comcast repairman, decent or honest. I'm not sure which one. Both, probably. This guy was really nice, but he came in, he's like, oh, so it looks like what's been happening is when they set it up, they just set up like the splitters. So the line comes in and it splits into two, and then they split that into two, and they split that into two. And the person at the bottom
Is you.
Yeah, is me. And he said what's been happening is every couple of months, someone comes in, they just unhook you from the bottom and hook you back up to the top, and they move everyone down. So I would have really great speeds, and it would slowly get
Like
worse.
a circular cue.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
And so he's like, this is not how we're supposed to do this. He's like, I'm going to requisition the actual box that's supposed to do the correct even splitting and everything. And so,
Yeah, I mean, there's some good ones. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong. It's just there's not very many.
well, I was there for 2 years before I had someone like that come in.
Yeah.
So actually, that was the decision. That's what made the decision for me to stay at that place another year. Was because I'm like, all right, well, hey, I'm set. I'm gonna stay
I'm
here.
at the top of the queue
Yeah.
for at least 6 more months, buddy. I'm streaming stuff. All right, so we better get on to the questions, because the other thing we're doing tonight is we're recording 3 episodes so that we're ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have caffeine and we have liquor.
You want to grab it and show them what we got?
Sorry, I
I
can't do the reverse.
I know.
Like,
I ran to the store on the way over here, which was nice because I got to see my friend that works there and tell him about moving and everything. Because it's we just missed each other the last month or so. I've been in there, haven't seen him, so that was cool. All right, first question.
I'm frustrated with my university's computer science program. Should I leave and start working on my own project ideas? Okay, so this is a problem that I faced in 1999. I was looking and I was seeing, hey, there's crazy high salaries for software developers. Why would I want to go to this school that makes me go to chapel every day? And, you know, all the stuff that went on there. And it's good that I didn't, because 2000 came and the bubble popped and a whole bunch of people ended up out of work. And had I dropped out of school then, I might not have had the option to go back to school at that point, and I would have been kind of screwed. Mm-hmm. If you're already in a computer science program, I get it. It's frustrating. But presuming that you're not working at the same time, which may be a huge assumption, you can still do side projects. And you can still do contract work, for that matter. Mm-hmm. I did. That may be a better way to approach. That way you come out of the computer science degree with a couple years experience of actually writing code in the real world.
So, interestingly, I'm back in school getting a master's in computer science, data science. And I get emails about once a month or so for part-time jobs looking for students to come in and, work for a semester or something. A really interesting thing is where I'm at school, they had a entrepreneur fair.
Yeah.
Where they had people come in and talk about what they were doing and looking to hire students to come work for them. Also, they had a startup fair where it was how to start your own company. So, and then another thing, a couple of students were starting a company while in school and looking for another developer. So this is really something you can do while you're in school. I work full-time and go to school part-time, so it's going to take a little bit longer, but also my work's paying for it, so there's kind of that.
Yeah, it's easier to put up with. But, I think school can be something you make it. Also, do a lot of networking while you're there. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest thing you're going to get out of a comp sci program. You're obviously going to get technical chops, but the biggest thing that can help you once you get out is to have an established network and to know people. Mm-hmm. Especially, let's say you're a sophomore, because that's about the time that it hit me where I was like, man, this is a bunch of crap. Make friends with some of the seniors, because they're going to go out to the workforce, and 2 years from now, they are getting to the point where they're a mid-level developer, and their boss is asking them, hey, do you know any junior dev, anybody we could hire as a junior dev? Mm-hmm. And you want to be front of mind for that.
Also, they're going to be, by that point, about 2 years in, you're starting to really get the recruiter calls.
Yeah.
And so they may know of a lot more opportunities than like than your university or you could find on your own.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah,
because people don't go to the universities for a lot of that.
About 2 years in, I started getting a lot of recruiter calls and pointing them to people that I knew or Will knew who were just getting out of school or were finishing up a boot camp, things like that. Some of them were members of our Developer Launchpad group. But I started pointing them to people that had told me they were looking, and I know several of my friends and people that Will knew that got jobs through that.
Yep.
So that's really cool. Also, if you make friends with them and they help you through a recruiter, sometimes they get a kickback.
Yep.
That's really nice too.
Yeah. The most I think I've ever made, I want to say I made $1,500.
That's what you told me before.
For a kickback. And it was a thing where the guy was a good fit.
Mm-hmm.
And he needed work. They needed somebody doing the work, and I told him about the guy. I didn't know about the kickback, and then I get a check in the mail, and I'm like, "What's this?" Oh, it's next month's mortgage payment, and half of the one after.
Yeah, I remember. I told my recruiter about a friend of ours when they were looking for someone, and she ended up getting hired. And I guess it was like a couple months later, I was still working for the recruiting company. I just got a bigger paycheck. I'm like, what's this? This is interesting. I didn't even know about the kickback on that either. And
yeah, plus it helps. I mean, like it helps them as far as working with a recruiter too. And we're going to actually put out a book about this someday.
We've got it recorded.
Yeah, I just got to write the text, and then
I need to edit it.
And then I'll have to pay somebody to get it where it can go on Kindle because they are the spawn of the devil. And I don't want to deal with them. So
That's good, man.
Yeah, here's some green pictures of Benjamin Franklin. Make this go away.
Yep. All right, next question. I started a job 6 months ago and have been offered another one for a lot more money. Would taking it risk being seen as a job hopper? So, I had a similar situation.
Yeah.
When I was interviewing for my last job, which was at the same place, it was just, I got promoted. But when I was interviewing for that, I'd interviewed quite a few places. And places are slow about hiring junior developers.
Yeah.
They really are. And so I got the offer and accepted it for the job that I have and really love. And then about 2 or 3 months in, I think, was it 2 or 3 months?
Yeah, it seems like that's about right.
I got an offer from one of the places that I remember I came out of that interview and told Will, I'm like, hey, I think that went really well. And I was like, I just don't know. Like, I talked to him about it. I was like, I don't really feel right leaving at 3 months, especially since I was contract to hire with a 6-month contract. I'm like, I kind of want to at least finish that out. And then they came back and offered me quite a bit more money than I was making. And like, I got a funny feeling about it. And I decided not to do it and ended up staying where I was at, got brought on full time, got promoted. And, now I get to be involved in some really awesome stuff where I'm working. And I'm really glad I made that decision. Though after about 6 months, to me, I think that's sort of the cutoff for job hopping, like, especially if it's a contract.
Yeah, and development jobs especially. Now, I wouldn't do that early in the career. Like, get that first job and sit there for a year, and then maybe move around and actually do contracting so you pick up more stuff.
Yeah.
But it also has to do with your risk tolerance. Like, going into the economic situation that we're probably about to go into, I would be very careful about hopping jobs unless I'm hopping somewhere more stable. Mm-hmm. Because, there's going to be a downturn sometime.
Well, we're
due.
Yeah, we're due, and we are kind of flooding the market a little bit.
Yeah.
We're not flooding it yet because there's enough need to cover what's coming into the market, but as that need gets satiated or filled, it will become a flooded market.
Well, it's two exponential curves, and one of them's growing. The supply is growing faster than the demand, and so it's going to catch it and cross it.
Right, because and the thing is, historically, the supply has always been lower than the demand, so they're trying to catch up,
Yeah.
And that's this concern. So, all right. Next question.
What are good alternatives to estimation, and why are they better? Okay, so yeah, we have a lot of trouble with estimates where I work, and we know this. It's one of those things. The developers give an estimate, management will double or triple it, and then sometimes it still doesn't get hit. And part of the problem is that scope is really what comes into it. It's not, oh, they're slower than they thought. It's, no, we tripled the size of the project. So good alternatives to estimation. First of all, break the thing down. Don't estimate a big project. Go, okay, here's a piece that gets us closer to the goal, and we can show a result. We can, get feedback from the client. In other words, kind of go what Agile was originally meant to be. Actually, what Waterfall was meant to be, for that matter. Do that. In other words, I wouldn't look for an alternative to estimation. I would look for a better way of estimating and shrinking that down.
Like we've been doing a lot of training on this. We have a consultant that came in and is helping us sort of with our process. And that's part of the reason I'm just sort of out of it and tired, is because I've been going into the office every day this week, working with them and learning. Well, I say every day. I had yesterday off. Well, not off, but I worked from home. So, which is kind of weird. It's like a backwards week for me. Normally Wednesdays are the days I go in. But, yeah, and he has us, there is some, high level estimating. And I really like his attitude. He's like, you're going to be wrong.
Yeah.
It's especially early on, he's like, what we're doing is we're setting up processes so that it's okay for you to be wrong and you can get better at it.
Yeah.
But he's having us estimate at the task level. And then management is kind of doing some high end estimates of all right, this is how many months it's going to take. But yeah, we're estimating at the task level, and we're not doing, we have been doing Scrum. So planning poker and stuff like that with, your, altered Fibonacci sequence of all right, what's it 1, 3, 5, 8.
That's 1, 2, 3, 5, 8.
Yeah, I said altered Fibonacci.
13.
We don't have a 2.
I think we do in the deck I got.
Yeah, we took the 2s out of the deck.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
You're those kind of people.
Yeah.
I don't like the way the queen looks. Remove it.
But yeah, it's sort of like that. And one of the problems we were having is one team had a 5 as their baseline for estimating, and another team had an 8 or something like that as their baseline, and then another team had a 13. And so if developers had to move between teams, it was difficult for them to keep that same mindset.
Yeah, it's like comparing weights and measures across different countries.
Yeah.
It's the French say this is going to be 14. Well, the Americans say it's going to be 9. Or, I guess it would be more 6, right? And they went from pounds to kilograms or the other way around. That's kind of the same thing. You got to have the same baseline. Mm-hmm. The other thing is you need to be conscientious about what the estimation is for. If it's just so that management can kind of plan and come up with, timelines and that sort of stuff. In other words, it's softer. Mm-hmm. Then that's one thing. If it's, you're doing stuff for NASA and they've got to hit their launch window to go to Mars, and your next opportunity is 18 months after that, you don't want to miss that deadline. So
we did just land on Mars, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, not us, but
yes, we are filming from. No, we're not.
Yeah,
that would be neat. Actually, if I were going to Mars, I would want someone else with me other than you.
Yeah.
No, I'm okay with you being there, but I would want more than just you with me.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of bad jokes and farts. Yeah. So
it might smell better outside
with all the perchlorates.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's get right on that.
Oh man, we're making fart jokes. We need to move on.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
All right, guys. Let's pop over and see. We got
Josh and Joseph.
Hey guys. Shout out to y'all. Good to see y'all joining us. Thank you. Hope both of y'all can make it down to McCabe Pub for our Christmas party. Well, holiday party. So, yeah.
Our buttered rum party.
That's the truth. We chose that place because last year they had buttered rum that was really awesome.
Yeah.
And so I went back a couple weeks ago. I'll tell you about it later.
Okay.
We won't waste y'all's time on it. But yeah, I had the buttered rum.
That means there's a story.
Yeah.
It's going to be story time after this.
It sounds like Deadpool. Do you know there's a PG-13 version of that coming out?
That just seems like it would be awfully short.
Anyways. So, if you guys haven't already listened to it, the episode that came out today is resume-driven development. Everyone loves to play with the new shiny thing. It's different and new and doesn't have all the emotional baggage as what you do day in and day out. You may need to learn new technologies to make yourself more marketable, and there's a right and wrong way to do this resume boosting development. When looking to switch jobs, you want to find some place where you can learn newer tech and grow as a developer. And in order to get into those positions, though, a lot of times you have to have some experience with that new technology. It can be very tempting to bring it into your current job to get that experience. In the episode, we're going to discuss what resume drilling development. Yes, there you go.
Well, I mean, hey, actually,
well, yeah, why not?
yeah.
We're gonna discuss what it is and talk about when it is and is not appropriate. And we'll start off by defining resume-driven development, what does and does not qualify as resume-driven development, and then we'll discuss when you can and should not use it.
And so next week is our episode on boundaries. So we're going to talk about personal boundaries and why they're important. Boundaries are a tricky thing for a lot of us, especially if you maybe were a little bit isolated socially. You had a strong religious upbringing that was, that had some opinions about things. And the thing is you've got to get your boundaries right to be a functioning adult. And so usually when your life starts feeling like it's spinning out of control, you should probably start reconsidering some of the personal boundaries you've set. You'll often find that not only have they been violated, but that a series of small decisions led to it happening. In other words, it is somewhat your fault, or if it's not your fault, at least it's your problem. While it may sound selfish, you can't save anybody from drowning while you are doing so yourself. So having intact personal boundaries will help you become a better friend, spouse, parent, or employee. And it's a critical life skill that most of us have to learn the hard way. And so we're going to kind of talk through that in this episode.
So guys, about to say that pretty much wraps us up. It's not an episode, is it? But it does pretty much wrap us up.
We're going to say that 3 more times.
That's very true. Well, I'm going to say that. You're going to say that's all I got. Can you tell we've done this for a while? All right, y'all. We're going to hop off here, and hopefully you'll see us next week. If everything goes to plan. If not, we will post that we're having technical issues or whatnot. But we're going to get off here and get
Beach found a new buttered rum recipe and just can't make it to the internet.
Oh my goodness. I'm not that bad, y'all. I am not that bad.
Hey, if you get good buttered rum recipe, we may both be in that shape.
That's very true. That's very true. All right.